host for What's Up Ocala. Today, I have a very, 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 very special guest. This is my daughter. And why don't you tell everyone your name and what you do?
So my name is Alexandra Fenton. I'm currently working as your personal assistant right now.
Yes, you just started. Personal assistant.
Resident content creator, digital marketer, video editor, pretty much a little bit of everything. I'm probably going to be editing this video too.
Also schlepping. You know.
Schlepping?
Yeah, you could put lock boxes on and pictures. And,
yeah. Essentially, if they have anything to do, they say, "Hey, are you busy?"
General gopher.
And I say, "No, I'm not busy." Yeah.
You're not busy, huh?
Oh, maybe not that choice of words.
So what? Well, this is something that you do throughout the week at odd times and hours.
Right.
So what is your life actually like? What are you doing? Because you are how old?
I'm 16.
You're 16. And what are you doing with your schooling at this point? Please explain to people what this is.
Right. So I'm a senior in high school. I'm also at the College of Central Florida. I'm in dual enrollment, trying to get my associates as soon as I graduate. At the same time as I graduate.
Yeah, at the same time.
I should say. I am at the point where I'm only doing one class at high school, which is a weightlifting class. I'm also on the weightlifting team as of recently. And everything else is a college class. So I'm essentially a college student at this point.
Yeah.
It just feels like that at this point.
Yeah. So. I think you've got one more high school class, which you can't do because there was a bit of a mix-up there.
Right.
So you have one more high school class that you have to do, and yet the high school year has already started.
Right. So I'm taking it virtual. So essentially everything, I have a really free schedule because of that. I have everything on Monday and Wednesday, and then the rest of the time I'm pretty much free except for weightlifting.
Yeah. So how many college courses are you taking right now?
Right now I'm taking four college courses, and next semester I'm going to be taking 5, all online. So
is that the 5? Does that count the one high school class as well?
No, it doesn't. No, I'm going to take that one as a virtual class, super fast over probably winter break. We just finish it out.
What was that class? I don't even remember what it was.
Real funny, I'm a senior in high school. The class is Earth Space Science, which is a 10th grade class, guys. 10th grade.
You just kind of skipped it?
I guess. And she didn't tell me. I mean, she, as in the advisor, my advisor for dual enrollment, did not tell me that until I met with her my senior year, and I'm like, hey, here's my schedule.
You're well into your senior year.
Yeah, about a month in.
Yeah.
And I go, hey, this is my schedule. How does it look? I crafted it myself. And she goes, well, you actually have one more science credit for high school. I'm like, when did you know that one? She's like, I just hadn't seen it. But it's okay because we're gonna clear it out real fast and get on.
Just gonna go flying through over the holidays.
Essentially.
Well, okay, so you're familiar with the homeschooling thing. The Florida virtual is so Florida virtual. What slows you down on Florida virtual instead of just flying through and doing a course rapid fire? What is it that actually slows the process down for a student?
If you are motivated enough and you are diligently working, it's actually the way it's set up because it's made so that you can't just fly through it. You have to do discussion-based assessments.
DBAs!
Yes. Everybody with anxiety just loves DBAs because that's when you call your teacher and you do essentially a pop quiz where they make sure that you're not cheating by asking you random questions about the module. And you have to do that before you take the tests for essentially each module of class. So that's what slows you down, is because you have to do that. You can't just speed through it and be done with it.
So that does tend to put it, but at the same time, it also teaches you really good skills for taking notes.
Right.
And really good skills for not cheating.
Not cheating.
Because that does not fly when you're doing pop quizzes all the time.
No, it doesn't.
So how on earth are you thinking you're going to do that class over the holiday break when the teachers also would like a holiday?
The way I've seen other high school students do it, which is kind of unfortunate that people have gotten into this situation, is they do all of the work and then they leave just the DVAs. And then the absolute minute that those poor teachers clock back in, they say, hey, I want to schedule some DVAs just so I can finish. And then you're done. Takes about a week.
Got it. So your week holiday vacation is going to be basically all science, 10th grade science.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so we missed that one. So how is it that you are like wanting to do all of this? Because I keep getting, anytime I'm like, yeah, my daughter's 16, because of course, we're exceedingly proud of her, okay? Very, very proud of her. Her brother also graduated with his associate's degree. That I will say I did push him into it, because he is not ambitious necessarily. So I did push on that one, but for you, no, you actually are more of the opposite, where it's more holding you back and not letting you put too much on yourself. So how? Why are you? What are we doing here?
Right. Well, I think it's just my philosophy. I think you gave it to me, actually.
You make it sound like a disease. Like what?
Well.
You inherited it.
I inherited it.
Sounds like a treasure then.
Right.
What exactly did you inherit?
I believe that when you have an opportunity in front of you, there's no reason not to take it. I don't understand why people don't have that philosophy. And if there is an opportunity where I can graduate 2 years essentially ahead of everybody else, why would I not do that? Right. So
well, technically it's 4 years, because you're going to have your associates, right?
That is true. So I'll be graduating at just barely 17. Actually, I'm going to be graduating college on my birthday. So, 17th birthday is going to spend college of Central Florida graduation. So I'll be graduating high school, 17, my associates, so I get to see that.
So you actually will have your associates before your high school diploma.
Correct.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
It's just how it's all in the same month, but it's a couple weeks apart.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll have your associates before you graduate high school. And you were actually looking into, I kind of got a kick out of it, but you were actually looking into the teaching program.
I was, for a little bit.
Yeah, and the requirements for teaching, for going into high school as a substitute teacher is 2 years.
Right.
So an associate's degree.
Right.
And a certificate, which is a test.
Right.
Yeah. So at 17, you would have at least the educational requirements to go in and teach at the high school that you graduated from.
Exactly.
That you haven't. Actually, technically, if you graduate high school, if you graduate college first, you would actually be able to teach before you actually graduate high school.
Right. Could do that.
Yeah. I don't know if that works.
Funny
that
how
way,
it works.
But yeah.
I mean, if there's a will, there's a way.
That is definitely true.
But yeah, so I believe in that, and I also believe in working. I don't like asking people for money, so I thought, might as well just start working. I think my first job was for you as well.
Yes.
I was a receptionist.
I was not quite ready to unleash you upon the world, so we had you in here working, and that did not last as long as I had hoped, because she was like, this is not fun. I want to go out and work elsewhere and clock in with the time clock.
Right.
So how did that work out?
Well, obviously I'm back here now, so that's any.
Yeah. Time clocks can be over. Yeah, but it has to be hard, because you and your brother both were raised, with us as entrepreneurs and realtors and crazy weird schedule. There is no 9 to 5. There is no,
it's 24/7.
you know, yeah. Yeah, some people miss that part, that it's more 24/7. You're basically just on call always, especially with the property management stuff.
Right.
So, you know, how would that really affect your mindset for like working and stuff? Because you have no concept of us having 9 to 5 normal everyday jobs.
And you would think that would be only a plus, because it means that you have a freer schedule. So if I have like a weightlifting competition, or if I have a ceremony of some kind where I want you to be, 99% of the time you can be there. One of you can be there. Yeah. But also, it means, because in middle school I also took virtual school, so I essentially didn't have.
Yeah, that was very nice. Schedule. I loved that.
Oh,
she got to be on our schedule as opposed to us being on hers. It was so lovely.
So, if y'all have a free schedule, then that also means that my dad could ask me at any point, "Hey, we have a house that needs some manual labor. Are you free?"
Yeah, there's no getting out of manual labor around our house. There's no. It's good for your character.
We'll say that. Yeah. We'll say that, I think.
You know what? You will never, ever, ever put sticky tiles down in a house.
Oh my goodness. The sticky tile house.
Yeah. Well, you had several of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the sticky tiles are those things you buy. I don't know. You can buy them at the dollar store, I think, even. And they're like these. It's like little squares of vinyl that stick to your floor. And you can pull up the vinyl, but the glue will stay.
Oh, yeah. And I got to witness that firsthand.
Yes, with a razor blade.
With a razor blade. And no air conditioning.
Yes. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, you and your brother both.
Oh, I wouldn't say that so much.
No. Well, he was there.
He was definitely there for emotional support. I remember we got to the first house, like the first day, and, you know, my dad gives us both tools to start lifting up the glue, because you literally had to get in there and really put some elbow grease into it.
It literally is manual labor.
Yes.
Sit on the floor.
Exaggerating.
And
sweat.
Yes. Right. 1 square inch at a time of glue.
Of glue.
Yeah.
Stuck to the floor.
It's not fun.
And I, got down to it, because my philosophy with working with my dad is work faster, work harder, so you can leave earlier.
Oh, that's a good philosophy.
Right. My brother, perhaps smarter than I at that point, thought if I do really badly, they won't ask me to do this ever again. So he took about 1 swipe across the floor, and he went, it's really hard. I don't know if I can do it. I think, it hurts my wrist. I'm just gonna sit here, I just need a minute. And the minute never ended. So he kind of just sat on the 5-gallon Lowe's bucket.
Yeah, but see, brothers are good for that, because I actually remember growing up, my older brother was very much the same. So
it's character building, I think.
It's character building for you, but I don't think it will register well later in life. So
no, I think there's a certain point where work smarter, not harder has to kind of transition into work hard, and I don't know.
Having both.
Yeah, I think you had to have both.
Yeah, you gotta have both. Yeah. So, well, we kind of take a hands-off approach to you guys. I mean, honestly, we kind of had the conversation of whatever you guys choose to do in high school is basically has no effect on our lives whatsoever. Our lives are not dependent on whether you're successful or, anything. Once you're living on your own, that's up to you. So we're going to try and give you as many opportunities as possible, but what you do with it, that's up to you. That's totally up to you guys.
Yeah, I think you made it quite clear that no matter what I or my brother do, you and Dad are just gonna go in that RV at some point and just ride it out.
It's okay, we did our time.
Exactly. Hands off. Go ahead, take the wheel.
We want you guys to be able to not only support yourselves, be productive members of society, but also to even give back to the community.
Right.
And that's what we definitely we're pushing towards. So you've done a lot of community service efforts.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time it's because I've voluntold you to get into the I'm doing something, therefore here, put on this orange vest.
Exactly.
You're gonna direct traffic.
Yeah, I recall that.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
I was like, it was okay. It wasn't like she was playing in traffic. It was actually the Denellen. What was that? It wasn't.
It was like a music festival.
Oh, it was the music festival. That's right. So yeah, there was they closed off the road, and you were supposed to tell people, and they had barriers up, and you were basically to make sure they didn't try and take down the barriers and drive through where the pedestrians were. So, so yeah, I remember that one.
Oh, I do too.
That was, what, I think you were like 13?
I don't think that young. Probably
14?
Yeah.
Maybe 14. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've gotten yourself into some interesting ones too. You painted or helped paint a mural at school.
I did. Yeah, I was involved in a lot of programs and still am at my high school. I was in NECA, Marion County Center of the Arts, I think. Yeah. Just called it MECA, I'm not gonna lie. I was in that for freshman through junior year, and there was a lot of volunteering, like, opportunities open. And one of them was actually painting a mural that is still there and will be there for as long as the paint wears off, which should not be for a while. I think it's really interesting and really fun. And I actually had a few art pieces in, like, charity events as well, which I don't know if that counts as volunteering, but
it does actually. It's community service type things. You had over at, I think you had one over at Brick City, and that one went up for sale, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? It went towards charity, and then so you donated art for charity, which is cool, and you actually had something on display at the Appleton Museum.
I did have something at the Appleton.
Yeah, which we did not find out about until after it was already taken down. Just to let you know. She was also supposed to go for, what was it? It was supposed to be a big ceremony, and she was supposed to, be one of the students that was being, I don't know, talked about and presented for this amazing piece of art, and she forgot about it and did not show up for the presentation.
The funny thing is, the teacher actually asked me about it the next day.
Well, yeah, I would imagine she did. Yes.
Well, no, it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't like that. She wasn't like, well, where were you?
Yeah, I would have been. Because we were appalled, okay, just to let you know. We were totally appalled. Like, the fact that we weren't even invited, and then the fact that she didn't even go,
Right.
But, yeah, it was at the local art museum. She was.
Well, yeah, because the teacher actually didn't go. She went, it was a 2-day event that it was shown, I think. And then it was there for about a week after.
Yeah, that was very clever. She found out the times that the teacher wasn't there, and maybe didn't outright fib, but definitely nodded her head at the appropriate points where the teacher was like, oh, so you went early or whatever. Yeah, so still a lie. Yeah, still a lie.
Okay.
You totally lied.
A little white lie. No. Well, no, because she pulled me aside, and she was so happy, and she was so excited. She went,
it is a big deal to have your artwork put up in a museum. Yes.
And she was just like, oh my gosh, I was so sad I didn't get to go when all the students were there. Did you get a lot of questions? Because when I went there the next day, there was a lot of questions about your piece, and I'm like, oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, apparently you were supposed to actually stand by your artwork and answer questions and talk about it as an artist. So
that's an experience.
But it's an opportunity, but that's all right.
Yeah,
but the artwork was displayed. You did but yeah, with any kind of anxiety issues, it's probably not one of the more fun ideas to do in person.
Yeah, the volunteering opportunities that you told me to do has not had my anxiety in mind at any point.
You need some work outside of the box, though.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Right. It's not that bad. Like picking up trash and stuff, and
that was fun.
Handing out bracelets, I think, at the entrance of an event. Stuff like that. Yeah.
You had me working a booth. Remember when you did the radio remote?
Yes.
And I had my own booth?
Yes.
By myself.
You were 10 feet away from me.
Correct, but by myself. Because every 2 seconds y'all were on air.
Yes. Yeah.
So people would come up to me like, what's going on here? I'm like, that's a great question. Let me get somebody for you. But no.
Yeah.
It's definitely...
Community radio is an excellent place to be part of the community. So, okay, so going back to real estate, because this show is technically supposed to be about real estate. It's more about Ocala, honestly, but it has a bent towards real estate. So, any plans to become a realtor?
About 6 months ago, I would have answered no way, absolutely not, because I've witnessed how much work it is and how much you have to interact with people.
Yeah, there is the people aspect.
There is the people aspect to a lot of it, to a large majority of it, actually.
Okay.
But the thing is that I didn't realize is that it's actually quite a bit of money.
Yes, it is actually more money to do work for yourself or to be an entrepreneur in any way, or salesperson, in fact.
Yeah.
Then
you will not catch me as a salesperson, though. I will happily be in property management, I think.
You'd like to be in property management.
Yeah.
So that's a new thing, because
it is.
At any point, if we asked you or your brother if you would be interested in being a realtor, taking over the family business, whatever, you know.
And I think a lot of people will be very jealous of that, being like, you have the opportunity to accept, a real estate company in its entirety just from your parents, and you're saying no. And I'm like, so I'm saying no, actually. I'm not going to do that. Because you work, 12-hour days.
On a good day, yeah.
On a good day. She doesn't tell y'all, but she wakes up at 5:30?
Yeah. 5:30.
Gets on the radio at 6 o'clock, and then works through the day, and is usually still at the office till 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m.
Not normally 8 p.m. anymore. So I can't. Normally. I say normally.
Last night?
I was only here until, I'd say 7. I'd say 7.
Well, there's still those days with 8 p.m., I think.
Yeah, once in a while there is an 8 p.m. Yeah. But I normally now, at this stage, do have weekends off for the most part.
Wow! Weekends!
Except for the last few weeks.
Oh my gosh, weekends!
Yeah, so yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot. But we're also trying to create something, and like I said, we want to give back to the community, and so we enjoy that. So it's not work if you enjoy it.
To an extent.
To an extent. To an extent. It still feels like work, but yeah.
You have a really interesting company though, because you combined sales and property management in essentially the same sector.
Yeah.
Not much separation. And how much experience do you have in property management?
Since 2007. I actually started in real estate, and then 2 weeks after the first time I walked in and started doing my job, I found out that I was pregnant.
Right.
With a surprise.
With me.
Such a awesome surprise. So
it was just a welcome to the job gift.
You were.
Right.
Yeah. The two had nothing to do with each other, but it was. So you have literally been a part of the entire real estate experience right from the beginning.
Oh yeah, which is why I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, but now you're looking at property management going,
doesn't seem that bad.
It doesn't seem that bad.
Big bucks.
Let's see. Okay, so what was it that you were thinking you wanted to do? Because we wanted you to do what you want to do. Not...
Right. I mean, property management isn't for everyone. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, so what is it you would like to do?
Right now, quite a niche job. I would like to be an academic advisor for a college. I would like to be that. I would like to be there because, especially being a dual enrollment student, before I say anything, props to every single academic advisor, every single academic worker, everyone in there deserves praise because they are overworked and underpaid. So you really cannot blame them if they're not perfect. However, being a dual enrollment student, I have come face to face with a lot of workers in that field not treating every student like a unique person with unique issues that need to be taken care of and actually valued, rather than just being a number in the system or just another piece of paperwork to be signed or another email to be sent or, hopefully read at some point. And I wanted to fix that. I wanted to be somebody who, when there's a freshman in college who doesn't know what they're doing, barely knows what major they want to do, barely knows what field they're going into, comes up to you and goes, I don't know what classes I'm supposed to be in. I don't know what teacher. Are there any good recommendations? I want to be somebody who says, yeah, I can help you with that. Let me bring up all the websites, all the resources, everything I can do for you. Because there are a lot.
There are a lot of resources.
There are that they don't cover. They really don't. So yeah, that's my inspiration.
So there are a lot of resources out there as far as dual enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
And, into college as well.
Right.
Free tutoring, all sorts of stuff is available to the students out there. But also scholarships are available. And that is something
that's major.
That is something so underutilized by so many students. It is crazy. I don't know if they don't realize or don't understand that is basically free money.
Yeah.
And they're going to college. It's to help them out. I guess, I don't know, whatever. And then there's Bright Futures.
Yeah.
Also a fantastic program. Can you explain a little bit to those from outside of Florida what Bright Futures is?
Sure. So Bright Futures is for Florida students, Florida high school students going into Florida colleges. That is essentially somewhere near full ride for tuition, depending on your grades, your scores, things like that. It's based off of your SAT scores, your ACT, if you, don't do so well in SAT, your GPA, and your volunteer or work hours. So depending on that, you can either get 75% of your tuition paid for completely.
That's huge.
Or 100%. 100% of your tuition.
Right.
Just paid for because you're like a good student and you volunteer sometimes. Yeah. So it's specifically for people going into Florida colleges. It's not for any out-of-state colleges, unfortunately. But it's an amazing resource that a lot of people really don't value that much or even know about.
Normally people are talking about the FAFSA, which is the federal student aid, which is great.
Yeah.
Pell grants and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, having the Bright Futures is amazing. I think there's a requirement in that for the community service as well.
There is. It used to be a lot worse than it is. It's actually way easier right now. So if you're a Florida high schooler, look into Bright Futures. It is not as difficult as it used to be. The SAT scores have gone up a little bit, but the community service hours, it used to be you had to have 100 hours of volunteer hours. That's it. Like full stop, that is what got you 100%. If you had 75 community service hours, that's what got you the 75% tuition. Easy to remember. But they've since made it easier where if you have a part-time job or anything like that, you can log your work hours, and that 100 hours of community service can be either broken up between the community service and the work hours, or it can be completely 100 work hours. Really interesting stuff. Yeah. And way easier than before, because you had me getting 100 hours, which I think I've gotten, haven't I?
Yeah, you have, actually. Well, okay. To be fair, she has actually worked way more than 100 community service hours. However, when she's done with her community service hours, she's supposed to take this one little single piece of paper, go up to the individual in any way, shape, or form responsible for having her go and do said community service hours and have them sign off that she was in fact there. How many times have you actually asked for that signature in the many, even in your school, for crying out loud? Yeah.
Essentially about twice.
Twice.
That's about it.
Out of the many. Yeah. I would say at least once a month you're doing
something out there
for the community. So yeah, that is.
Yeah, and I've definitely worked at least 100 hours
Oh
at
yeah.
this point. So I have it covered. I just didn't get it signed.
Yeah.
So get it signed. I know it's a struggle for people with anxiety to go do that because it's like, oh, it feels so transactional. I don't want it to be like I'm doing it just for the volunteer. They know you're doing it for the volunteer hours. They know. Like 99% of the time, if they see a high schooler at like a community service event, they know why you're there.
Right.
So it is not something to be ashamed about. Please get your volunteer hours.
Yes.
It looks so good on resumes and scholarships and any kind of application.
Yes. So there was actually the one that you actually got signed off on was because you had an amazing amount of hours going into.
An outstanding amount of hours.
Literally
actually.
months of work went into it, but it was essentially a 60th anniversary for a charitable organization in Citrus County.
Right.
And the person in charge requested a book be created. So you had a whole slew of businesses that were sponsoring and being put into this, I don't know, it was like into this book.
Right.
And so can you explain how that all went down? Because this was Citrus County, not Marion County. And Citrus County is more rural,
right,
by far. These are very small businesses, mom and pop shop kind of businesses. So what were the what was the experience like to do that?
Oh man, it was kind of my opening into this job because there's a lot, similar with digital marketing, content creation. I had to essentially redesign quite a bit of businesses' logos and advertisements because Citrus County is great for what it is. A lot of people love it with all of their hearts, and it's a great place if you're into that sort of rural, quiet vibe. Okay. But they're not the best with digital marketing or really anything digital. So when they first gave me the content to be put in this book, this six page book. No, it wasn't 6 pages. How much was it? 96 pages, by the way. 96 page book. They're like, okay, you need to create a whole page ad based on this tiny business card. Or my personal favorite, this clipping from the newspaper, a black and white newspaper that wanted to be in color. And it was like that for pretty much most of the pages. I think I only got about like 2 ads that were ready to just be put on in there. Like I could just copy paste it right in the book. Most of them needed to be literally redesigned.
Or designed, because there was no actual design.
like we do it.